Good morning. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. Yesterday, we acknowledged together here that perhaps the greatest key to our happiness or contentment, as we've been discussing it, in a life of recovery and of vitality is this: radical acceptance of whatever is in our lives at any given moment. Radical acceptance. I'm reminded here of another wise man's counsel. This is the 13th century Persian poet Rumi, who says, "Learn the alchemy true human beings know. The moment you accept what troubles you've been given, the door opens." Now the question remains, how do we learn to accept whatever troubles we've been given, a la Rumi? The answer may lie in our closer understanding of Niebuhr's original Serenity Prayer. We'll be looking at the much longer version, which I shared with you a couple of podcasts ago. Remember from the Serenity Prayer that Niebuhr starts off by imploring us to distinguish clearly between those things we can change and those things we cannot. In fact, he goes on to say that this is the very definition of wisdom, this capacity to make that distinction. That means that every time that I'm beset by something that I hadn't counted on, I'm required to analyze where, if anywhere, there might be wiggle room in terms of what I can do to make a difference in this situation. Just that action alone of making a distinction between what I have control over and what I don't moves me from the more automatic reflex of negativity, emotions like fear or hopelessness. It moves me from that toward more constructive thought processes, all of them emphasizing what psychology calls internal locus of control. Let me say a word about internal locus of control. Nearly 40 years ago, I completed my master's thesis at the University of Southern California at the Andrus Gerontology Center. What I discovered in my master's thesis is that the older we get, I should say this, all of my research subjects were at least 85 years old. The older we get, one of the single best things that we can do for ourselves mentally is to maintain a sense of personal choice. And this is what psychology calls internal locus of control. Once I lose that, apparently, my mental functioning will decline much more rapidly than the mere fact of aging would predict. And so this is something we do have control over, is our sense of control. Well, it's the very same thing here, starting with, as we look at the Serenity Prayer, it's key, according to Niebuhr's prayer, that we locate where we can make a difference and where we can't. What I'd like you to do is come back tomorrow as we dive deeper into looking at the very roots of what it is that might yield lasting happiness in our lives, very much in the spirit of serenity, the Serenity Prayer, with the goal of contentment, and that's really one of our primary goals here at the Vitality Project. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.